Hi, I'm Carolyn Lemons. I'm here to tell you the story of Finn McCool and the giant from Knockmany Hill. I have two visitors today, Robert.
Hi.
And Donnie.
Hello.
Finn McCool was a giant that lived at the top of Knockmany Hill with his wife, Una. They were happy there. Finn worked at the causeway, building it to Scotland, and then his wife stayed at home and she sewed and hemmed and made the house pretty. One day, Finn, while he was at work with his kinfolk, he heard that a giant named Cuchulainn was coming to town. Well, Cuchulainn was known for his strength and for the ability to beat up other giants, and Cuchulainn had not beat up Finn, and so that was his goal. He swore by the green that he was going to beat up Finn McCool one day. Well, this was his day. He was after Finn. Finn heard of him coming and he decided to run home and tell his wife Una that he would be gone for a while. Well, when he got to his house, his wife goes, "Finn, why are you home? You're supposed to be working." He said, "Oh, I just came home to visit you and see your lovely face." And she said, "Finn?" And he goes, "Okay, Cuchulainn's in town and he swore by the green he's going to beat me up and I need to leave." And she said, "It's okay, calm down." So Una, being the wise woman that she went and consulted the fairies. And the fairies and her devised a plan to outsmart Cuchulainn. So she went to her neighbors and she borrowed one of 20 iron pans and she began baking. She baked one of 20 loaves of bread in which she inserted the iron pans. Then she took a bowl of milk and she made some wet cheese. Then she looked at her husband and said, "Now Finn, you're going to dress up like a baby and be a baby and sit right here and don't worry about it. I'll take care of all the rest." And Finn was like, "Okay, I trust you." Well, Cuchulainn was known for his strength in town, and when all of a sudden the earth started shaking and they could hear Cuchulainn coming up because of how strong and how mighty he was, they heard the boom, boom, boom of him coming up the hill. And so Una turned to Finn and said, "Okay, Finn, you really, really need to get in the cradle real quick." And so as Finn was getting in the cradle, she laid the wet cheese at the base of the cradle, and then she laid her bread out that she had baked, plus some bread she had made from the day before. And sure enough, soon as she had got everything prepared, boom, 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 Cuchulainn is at the door going, "Where's that ornery Finn McCool?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry you missed him right now. He was at the causeway working with his kinfolk, and family news came and he had to go help some family, but he'll be home by tea time. Don't worry, he'll be fine. You just come on in and make yourself at home, and we'll just wait until he comes home." And she goes, "Oh, by the way, look over there. There's our son." And Cuchulainn goes, "Wow, that's a big boy." "Why, yes, he is. He takes after his father," Una says. "And he's a very strong and mighty man." And Cuchulainn's going, Yeah, sure he is, yeah. Well, Una says, "Well, would you like a piece of bread? Some bread and some butter?" And he says, "Sure." So she brings him some bread. Of course, remember, this is the bread that she'd baked the iron pans in, and sets them down in front of him and gives him some butter and some other things to eat. Well, then Cuchulainn, being the glutton he is, he takes a piece of bread and he chomps down real big, takes the whole thing. Clunk. Oh, what in the devil is in this bread? 2 of my teeth have fallen out. Una goes, "Oh my, well, that's the same bread that my husband Finn eats, and he never says it's too tough. Oh man, it must be that he must be stronger than you." And Cuchulainn goes, "No way." And he tries it again. He gets the next piece and he goes, oh, 2 more teeth falls out. And he's like, maybe this Finn McColl is stronger than me. Maybe I should be watching what I'm doing. Maybe I shouldn't be here. Well, then baby Finn over in the cradle starts going, hungry, hungry, hungry. And she goes, oh, is baby hungry? Oh, you have a mighty appetite just like your daddy. And so she goes and gets him a loaf of bread, but it's the loaf of bread she made from the day before. And so it's just a regular piece of bread, and she gives it to the baby, and the baby eats it up, yum, 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 and has no problem. And Cucullin goes, that is one tough kid. I can't believe he can do that. And she goes, yes, he takes right after his father. Sure enough. And then Cucullin goes, well, I tell you, I've never seen a baby that big. And she goes, oh, let him show you how he plays with the stones. So she went and gathered up the stones. One of them was the wet cheese, and the other 2 were just regular stones. And she puts them in the cradle with baby Finn. Baby Finn takes the stone, and he takes it, and he squeezes it, and all this water comes out. And Cucullin's going, this is one strong baby. And he squeezes some more, and more water comes out. And then Finn does the unthinkable, eats it right up. And Cucullin is going, uh-oh, I've gotten myself into trouble. So, but not to be outdone by the baby, he grabs a stone himself and tries to squeeze, and no water comes out. And tries to squeeze again, and no water comes out. And then all of a sudden he pops it in his mouth, and all of the rest of his teeth fall out. He is in such pain. And he goes, I need to look at that baby's teeth. That baby must have teeth made of iron. So he walks over. Now, Cucullin's strength comes from a brass finger that he had on his right hand. And Cucullin goes to reach into the baby's mouth and to look at the teeth when baby Finn goes, bites down on the brass finger and pulls it off. Well, Cucullin falls to the ground because he's weak and he can't support himself anymore. And then when Cucullin's on the ground crying and weeping, baby Finn jumps out and starts beating up on Cucullin. Well, guess what? Cucullin decides to run away and never to bother Finn McColl again. Once Cucullin was gone, Una looks at her husband and says, tea time, my dear. And they lived happily ever after.